Hi, everyone. Welcome to another full, wonderful, blessed week of Reverend Payshence Spiritual Ministry Talk Radio. I have the wonderful honor of having my dear little Amita, Leilani Martinez, the Great Goddess, out of upstate New York. She is a beautiful spirit, and I am more than honored to have her on the show. Welcome.
Hey there. How you doing?
How's the weather been up there? It's been pretty crazy here in Minnesota where I'm at. You know, it doesn't...
So bipolar over here. It's been crazy.
You too? Oh my God. Oh, put it this way. It's only been a high of 62. I feel like it's already fall. I mean, leaves are starting to fall off the trees. So it's like, okay. It was summer. We didn't get it.
Today was like the most beautiful day, but it seems like, just a handful, far and few in between, Next thing you know, there's fall and winter. Boom.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And last year, y'all up in the Northeast got slammed. Normally in Minnesota, we're like up to our eyeballs in snow. And it's like, we barely had anything. I was surprised. You guys just got hammered. It's like, oh, I hope that's not us. I was like, oh, just you wait. I keep hearing, just you wait. Because, I've been through the blizzards of, like, Baltimore and everything when I used to live there. So, it's not like I've not been through it before. But I will say here where I'm at, it gets a little colder than usual. You can get up to negative 40 sometimes.
But the one thing I will say about New York is I live in the Hudson Valley part of New York, and the one thing I will say about this beautiful, beautiful place is the Hudson Valley is absolutely just majestic and gorgeous. We have mountain-esque views.
Yes.
Beautiful waters, and in the fall the colors are just insane. The change of season is just amazing over here. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I'm a New Yorker all day till the day I die.
Amen. I don't blame you, honey. And that's one thing I always used to hate growing up in Florida where I was from. We didn't have the change of the seasons. We had hot, hotter, and wet. I remember many times, like my adopted mom's family's from Chicago, and I remember many times it'd be 88 degrees Christmas Day, playing in the pool while I'm calling my cousins up, and they're like, what? You guys just stuck inside? Oh, you got 6 feet of snow outside? Oh, guess what I'm doing? Rubbing it in their faces. Now I'm going through it myself. It's like, oh, much different. But, I really love it. But one thing I love and everything is your business and your videos that you've been doing. That's the whole reason why I brought you on the show. I love the work that you're doing in the community and the representation of the Boricuas in the spiritual community. Couldn't ask for a finer queen such as yourself because there's so much crap going on now out there in the spiritual community, and you've even seen, and even posted about it too on your, your Facebook. It's just foolishness, and that's why, it's, like I said, I may have had, certain people on my show that are the who's who in the magical communities, but also I have, people that are not so well known, because the reason why I have them is because they're real. You're legit, you're good at what you do, and you do things from the heart. You're not in this for the greed and everything. Right. You're actually, wanting to help teach and help people and heal people, like we're supposed to do, instead of sitting there yik-yakking and, tearing each other down and stuff. And, it's sad that we see this in the community.
It's so sad, and the reason why I wanted to put myself out there, because I've been doing this for a very long time, but it's been very much quiet and kind of kept within my local community here. Yeah. And it got to a point where a lot of my online friends and a lot of people in the community were like, Leilani, you need to start making YouTube channels. You need to start talking to people on a more global scale, because your information is important and needs to be heard. And and why I decided to say yes to that, because I'm actually a very shy person, and I have a difficult time sort of going out there and doing something like that and putting myself out there like that. But I came from a place of being that solitary practitioner, of being that individual who had to do the brunt work and the leg work of researching and figuring it out and trial and error and making mistakes and not having anyone to refer to. And then whenever I did have someone to try to refer to, there was so much ego and there was so much stuff happening that I was completely disenfranchised by the whole concept of going to, parts of the community.
Yeah.
And so it got to the point where I was like, okay, you know what? I pulled myself up on my bootstraps. I got to a certain point, and now I feel like let me turn back around really quick and grab a few more people that are in the same position that I was in, and bring them along with me, because it is a journey at the end of the day, and
Amen.
There's no other purpose other than lifting each other up and bringing us all closer to spirit. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Amen, girl. I am in total agreement with you. That's why I just posted that recent thing about, the more we bless each other and bless each other's success, the more the ancestors and everything and our familias will bless us, and our santos and whatever, loas, orishas, whatever we work with and everything. Because the more, the more selfish you are, the more the bandejo, asshole that you, and then you wonder why your life is shitty. And then you
my God, truth.
And, and it's like, like the people who had been gaslighting me and everything, are very narcissistic, and everything they've accused me of, they're actually guilty of, and everything. And, that's why instead of, being immature and being ghetto about it, I try to, keep things as much as possible. Yes, I cuss. I'm still human and everything, but I try to always conduct myself a way a gracious queen would be and everything. And that's why I just put it out there as like, if you just spent the time physically and spiritually hustling and grinding with your spiritual ministries and helping people and doing what was right, you wouldn't have time.
You won't have time for it.
Exactly.
You won't have time for it. And here's the thing that always gets me,
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what the mentality is, because at the end of the day, I come from a psychological background, and I come from that kind of schooling. So to me, I always try and find the psychological root of something and why people behave the way that they behave and why they do the things that they do, right? Mm-hmm. And so when I look at the big picture, a lot of the common threads that I see is this chest pouting, exuberance of who has the most power. And one of the things that I will always say, and you'll see it on my Facebook constantly, is there is no shortage of power. Power is a never-ending pool. It's a well that is never-ending, and we can all access it whenever we need to. And so when people are trying to push other people down to get the majority of that power, number one, it's pointless. And number two, one of the things that we also forget, and this is part of why I started this YouTube series called The Will, is that the body itself, the vessel, the human being, and all things that are living really, are vessels for power. And so if anything, it's not so much that you don't have enough power and you have to get more. It's that you haven't nourished your body and yourself enough to be able to be a good vessel to hold that power. And so therefore the power does not stay with you. And so for my YouTube channel, I said, you know what, let me start there. Let's start with personal will, personal power, and building yourself up first, understanding yourself first so that you can become that vessel you need to be to hold that power. Otherwise, you're just going to turn into all the rest of them. You know?
Exactly, Mama. You hit it right on the head of the nail. That's why I love, the philosophy of Bruce Lee when he said, the will is the most powerful tool in the universe if you know how to wield it. And that's why, but also too, like, what we're going to be talking about tonight, the use of essential oils and stuff, which is a form of co-creator, as some traditions like to call. Personally, people, because of who they are, hormones or whatever, we need those co-creators to help us to focus, because, some people don't have, because of various reasons, be able to discipline the mind to focus on what intention they're trying to manifest and everything. And that's why, they might, to help keep themselves grounded, make an essential oil based with, magnetic sand to help focus and everything, where, I've done the, take the almond, excuse me, I can't seem to talk tonight, almond oil,
It's Mercury retrograde.
Yes, it is, baby. It is very true. Got Uranus going and soon Neptune soon. You know.
It's a hot mess out there.
Yes, it is, honey. And you take hematite and some magnetic sand and everything and use that as oil if you don't like to carry the stones. Because I personally, I keep a hematite, amethyst, and tiger's eye in my bra to help me focus and work, because I have ADD. And the amethyst, because you can use, make essential oils charged with stones,
Totally.
And so
yes.
their energies vibrate and everything off of them. And so, like, to help with my, like, for instance, with ADD, to help me, one, I love my candle, Magick, sympathetic Magick through that and everything, because you can do, because with colors or with the herbs and how you dress it and everything, you can do more than one type of prayer / spell at the same time.
Yeah, definitely.
But still, to help me, like I said, the amethyst is to help fight anxiety, and also helps fight against psychic attack and protection. And then tiger's eye to collect the energies to my body. And then the hematite, which is a natural magnet, to keep grounded, my energies. Because, in ancient times, a lot of different cultures used to add it to either in their warriors, shields or some kind of jewelry or whatever. So, when they wore it out, went into battle, they wouldn't freak out, and, spaz out and everything. And they kept all, it's a stone of courage, also known, because it keeps your energies to you, so you can stand your ground, as they say,
Exactly. Before we jump into, these ideas of, these magical oils, which, oh my gosh, it's just so fascinating. I want to quickly just make the distinction between, an essential oil and an infused oil, right? So
yes.
An essential oil, for those who don't know from your show, that an essential oil is basically an oil that is, it's a volatile substance that is created by the plant matter. So, the stems, the seeds, the buds, the flower petals, the this, the that, any part of the plant, it all gets, kind of smushed down, and it gets distilled, and it goes through a very, very lengthy process that there's a couple of different ways that they can make essential oils.
That's why they can, some of them can be expensive as hell. Yep.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's just a very, very, very condensed, high volatile substance, meaning that it takes so much of that plant material just to make a very, very, very small amount of it, right? Versus an infused oil, which is what you're talking about, which is basically taking herbs and taking stones and placing it into a base oil and allowing it to sit for some time so that the energies and the chemicals of those plant materials can infuse into the oil. So there's definitely a huge difference. The essential oils is jam packed with power because it takes so much of it, and it's kind of like the atom, or it's kind of like the nucleus of an atom. There's so much power there, but it's so small. It's just like that. So, and then a base oil, a carrier oil, which I'll get into a little bit later, is basically just, it's the fatty, proteinish the oil that allows the essential oils to be carried into the body. It absorbs easier through the skin. It is less harmful for the body as opposed to essential oils, because essential oils can be very harmful if overabused and overused because of the fact that they're so volatile. And they should never be ingested, obviously. That's a dangerous situation. So with the magical stuff, how you mentioned that you have, ADD and you use these tools. Essential oils are amazing because you can just use one essential oil and just one drop of it, or you can create a concoction with the essential oils and the base oils and some stones and some
like
fun
making
stuff.
the magical or spiritual, for anointing your candles and stuff and everything. That's what most spiritual or magical oils, depending on their traditions, are the same thing. And that's why, like for instance, I always keep with me a bottle of a lavender essential oil, not fragrance oil, but the essential itself. because I suffer from migraines a lot because I don't have the disc between my C4 and C5 in my neck. And so when they come on, or allergies or anything like that, anytime I get a sinus migraine or anything, I since I was a little girl, my mom used to use this on me. Some put a little bit on your fingertip of your nose, and just dab it in, the tip ends of your nose, so you can sniff it in. And then
That's it.
you anoint your third eye, the temples, and then right on either side of the base of the neck, right in there. And works better for me than taking ibuprofen, Tylenol over the years. And I always go back to it. I always come back to it. They're
so powerful. They really are. And if you want, for that particular issue that you got, try peppermint, try wintergreen, try a lot of the menthol. The menthols are really,
I do,
really
especially when I'm sick and everything. I use those a lot and stuff. I sometimes I even do a combination of the lavender with the wintergreen. Especially like when I have like a cold and where you have the one side's all stuffed up and you can't breathe and everything, the other side's trickling down. You want to blow, but it doesn't.
Really messes up that chronic breathing. Yeah. It really does.
But you take one sniff of that and it's like, yes.
Yeah.
And it's better than the man-made stuff that they make that you sniff up your nose and stuff like that.
So true.
And I used to love, now I totally appreciate it. But when I was a kid growing up, my adopted mom had the cabinet. And, the one with all her herbs and then the one with all her essential oils. Because she used to be dean of a school where they taught natural health. How to make essential oils in your own, and different natural healings. As long as we called it that, it wasn't witchcraft or magic, type of thing. Because she was a born-again Christian, belonged to the Pentecostal church. So, but, they taught acupuncture, Tai Chi, Qigong, Reiki, and everything, and every form of massage therapy imaginable, and so I grew up learning how to do all that stuff from the medicinal point of view. But as I done my research, and did my through my own spiritual path, I started realizing that a lot of our essential oils and herbs that we use, that we make out of whatever medicinally they do, is very similar to the spiritual use of what they use them for.
Oh my gosh, yes. It's so true. It is so, so, so true. You're in my essential oil Facebook group, correct?
Of course, yes.
Yeah. So you've seen, I've done posts where I kind of compared the two, so for example, what's a good one? Ginger, right? Yes. So ginger the essential oil is used a lot in getting rid of, stomach parasites and things that affect the tummy, right? And it makes you feel good. Everyone drinks ginger tea when they're not feeling well, right?
Right.
But ginger is also an amazing ingredient in, expelling work and getting rid of curses and getting rid of problems and parasites on a magical level. So they definitely, when you see these essential oils and how they correlate with each other, it's amazing how medicinally and spiritually they go side to side.
Amen. Exactly.
This is ancient information that's been
and they've
known for so long.
Exactly. And also they've been used in aromatherapy, and aromatherapy has been dated back thousands of years. I mean, go to ancient Kemetic, Kemet and everything. For people don't know, that's ancient Egypt. Before Ptolemy, it was called Kemet. They've been using it for thousands. A lot of cultures have. And everything, where they diffuse the breathing in the vapor of the essential oil. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything. The oils in your hair, the oils in your makeup and in your face, the oils that you smell during ritual, the oils that you use to for perfumes and to help with the embalming of mummies.
Yes.
Everything. It was everywhere in every part of lifestyle, plus the culinary aspect of it.
Oh yeah.
These oils were created also as food.
Oh, I know, because a lot of those ones that we made essential oils out of, they also use as, spices and, cooking, all the time and everything. Yeah. I mean, there's no place, in Asian cooking that you don't find ginger in some way or another, because it's because one thing I love about, the Eastern philosophy of Asia, in the various cultures there, is that, they see it as a part of everyday life. That your food, it's a spiritual aspect. Eating is a spiritual thing, and so that's why they have certain oils and certain herbs and stuff that you're going to be eating along with your meats and stuff like that. Because, or like the whole philosophy, you can eat your magic. Like down in this,
My husband is Indian. He's Hindu.
Oh,
and,
wow.
The
I bet you get some good curry, don't you?
I love it. Herb medicine and even just like even just regular day-to-day culinary stuff, like people who aren't necessarily super Hindu or super into Ayurvedic medicine, because it's the modern world over there too. Like there's people that aren't into that at all. But even just going to like a regular restaurant or a regular street vendor, he would tell me that over there, they'd have like little candies that are made out of like certain oils and essential oils and certain herbs that you would eat either before the meal or after the meal to aid with digestion and to help with your breath and to help all kinds of stuff. So like it is just part of just your everyday. I mean, kids are just living that lifestyle and not even thinking twice about it, And I hope that this culture, American culture, can eventually get to that point, because as of right now, the FDA and we have no regulation right now.
I know, and it's ridiculous.
So it's a hot mess. There's a lot of finger pointing, a lot of legal stuff happening between all the essential oil companies and who's legit and who's not and who's this and who's that. And it's just a hot mess because there's no real way of regulating it and really saying what's going on out there. So that's why I always encourage people to do their research when they're purchasing their essential oils, because for me, I like to use the best of the best when I'm making my magical products, which is why my business is called The Magical Solution. It's kind of like a double meaning, And so I always tell people, look, keep in mind, there's no regulation right here in America. So if a company is using 5% of real essential oil and the rest is just filler, then they can still say that they're 100% therapeutic.
I know, and it irritates the living heck out of me. That's why I try to tell so many of these young practitioners, that, will actually swallow their pride and actually, listen to their elders like they need to, and remind them that's why it's so important when you're going to buy your spiritual supplies for your rituals and everything. You need to know if your oils are true and tried of what they say they are, because there's certain companies out there, I'm not going to mention no names because I have class, but it's out of California, where, a lot of the stuff is, just food dye.
Right.
And fragrance number one. There's no herbs, there's no nothing whatsoever in it and everything. It's like, really?
And it's really frustrating too, because everyone really, I mean, look, I'm not placing blame on anyone, but I understand that we're in an economic situation in this culture right now where, people just can't afford the good stuff, and I get it. I totally get it. And we have, the dollar store witches and the Walmart witches, and people are just trying to save a buck, and they're trying to use what they got in the kitchen cupboard, and I'm totally down for that, no judgment. But at the end of the day, though, magic is about sacrifice. At the end of the day, in order to get, you have to give. So if you're not willing to put in the research, and if you're not willing to spend that extra buck on a better quality item for your spirits and for your work, then expect low quality results. It's just going to be like that.
Yes, exactly.
And you hit it right on the nail. There are some companies, man, that it's just it's color, it's food coloring, it's some alcohol, and it's garbage. And
I learned this the hard way when I was a girl growing up, because I really didn't have the teachers like some people have and everything in the beginning of my, when learning my path of the craft and everything when I was a teenager, 13, and this seems cool, and wandering into the Botanica and just buying stuff because I saw something cool in a movie, and I'm so glad now that there's like more ways of learning, but unfortunately a lot of these new ones that are coming out and everything, these youngins that are coming up, don't want to take the time. They want this because they come from a culture of instant gratification and everything. So they don't want to take the time to, I have to read? what? I have to learn something? What do you mean it's going to take so many days? Why doesn't it just happen right? Like, she twists her nose on TV and everything, and poof, it happened. Sorry, I wish it did work that way, but it don't, you know?
Yeah. You know, and I have two comments on that. The first one is, you know, when you were talking about earlier, you know, focusing, right, and getting into focus and how essential oils can help with that, right? So part of the YouTube channel that I got going on, and part of my mental thoughts on how I kind of want to proceed with it, is this idea of sort of starting with basics, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a reason why every elder whom you study under will start you with meditation. There's a reason for that. You know what I mean? And so much of these new guys that you're talking about, it's true, they want to skip the meditation part, they want to go right into it, or it might be a situation like what you have, right? It might be an ADD issue, it might be a focus issue, and so they'll just skip it altogether simply because they cannot, you know, master that skill, right? And that's something that right off the bat, if you are not willing, right, to make that sacrifice, to really work on that skill, even if it takes you 6 months longer than the person next to you, because you may have ADD or you may have focus issues, so be it. Get it mastered before you take that next step. You know, there's no rush. Here's the thing: magic will always be there. Power will always be there. The information and the knowledge will always be there. It's not going anywhere, baby. So just take your time with it. Do what you gotta do.
Preach, baby.
Master the skills, right?
Exactly.
And then the other part of it that I noticed too, with regards to the quality, because I'm kind of skipping all over the place, and I apologize about that. But regarding the quality of essential oils too, and I notice this when I'm in these Facebook groups and I see these people talking about like their recipes, right? And they've got like 25 ingredients, and they're just pouring in all these ingredients and empty out the entire bottles of oils, and they're emptying out their entire jar of like herbs, and they're throwing just everything into the pot. And I'm sitting here going, but why though? Like, like, you know, these herbs, right? These herbs, these essential oils, these candles, every ingredient that you are using has a power in and of itself. They are from the earth, and they have their own power already. All you're doing as the witch is activating that power, turning it on, and telling it how to work for you. Once you've done that, it doesn't matter whether you use a pinch of salt or you pour the whole goddamn jar in there, it's going to have the same effect. So there's no reason for anyone to be pouring in all this stuff and wasting all of their ingredients like that, which is probably the reason why you got to end up buying your stuff at the dollar store, because you can't afford to keep up with how you're using this. So it's the same thing with the essential oils. The oils are so volatile. They're so powerful and potent. Literally, one drop will do the work. It'll do the work for you. You know, there's no reason to be pouring it all out there like that.
Exactly.
I'm telling you.
It is. It is. You know, and that's like I try to tell people and everything. But, you know, a little dab will do you. You know, there's a reason why we have that saying and everything. You know, because if you put too much cinnamon in something and then you try to put it on something else, you're going to burn the crap out of somebody. Or too much oregano on something, you're going to burn the crap out of somebody. You know, it all depends on how you're using it. And that's why you need to pay attention to what, you know, a lot of these, the herbs that you put in the essential oils and everything that they're made out of, you know, they have, like lavender, for instance, okay?
Right.
It covers everything. It protects. You know, it banishes, it heals, it brings prosperity, it brings love, you know, so you don't need, you know, 50 million different things.
Exactly.
You know.
And another piece of this too, and I oh man, you know, when it comes to the tools of witchcraft, right? You know, we have our herbs, we have our oils, we have our candles, we have our glass of waters, and our this and our that, right? At the end of the day, they're just tools. A real powerful practitioner, all they need is a snap of their finger and a good intent, and they got what they need to get done. However, let's put some reality back in the situation. Just because this candle is blue doesn't mean it's gonna do the same thing that a black candle is supposed to do just because you intend it to do so. You know what I'm saying? Or vice versa. Same thing. I'm sorry, that was actually a poor example. An herb, for example. You know, an herb, yes. Because an herb already has its own power and has already been proven, tried and true throughout history that herb does that specific thing, does not mean that just because you intended to do something else, it's going to. Your intention does not work like that. And the herb will not work like that. It's the law of inertia. It does not want to move just because you tell it to move. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, and I think that's really important to understand as well. You know, these ingredients are tools. And they're helpful tools. So how does essential oil be a helpful tool to us? So the essential oils, right, the way that we bring them into our bodies is the most common way is through the sense of smell, right, through our olfactory system, which is our nose, you know, our brain, our lungs, our taste buds, even our ear tubes are all kind of breathing in these essential oils, right? So how does that affect us in Magick? Well, you know, the sense of smell is linked to the limbic system, which is probably one of the oldest parts of the brain, okay? And this part of the brain governs emotions, it governs behavior, and it governs long-term memory. So when you're breathing in these smells, you're affecting your mood, you're affecting the behavior, you're affecting the memories that you have that may be associated with that smell. And all of that is part of the intention that is required to do your magic and the emotional state that is required to get your magic done. So for example, if you need to do some baneful work, right, you need to curse somebody to hell, right, if you're going to do this, you have to put yourself in a hateful place. You emotionally have to start emoting pain, suffering, anger, hatred in order to place that emotion into your work so that your work is infused with that so it can do what it needs to do. However, if you're trying to heal someone, right, if you're trying to do love work, you need to emote this emotion of love and this emotion of healing and what that means to be in white light and this and all that, right? But in order to do that, the practitioner needs to be very skilled in meditation, very, very skilled in willpower, right? And a lot of people struggle with that. So, and that's okay, you know, like I said, you got to master these skills before you jump to the other level. But essential oils can help you out with that, you know? So if you need to get into a headspace of healing and love and this and that, maybe lavender will be the one for you. Maybe rose will be the one for you. Jasmine, you know, geranium. If you need to get yourself into a dark place, if you need to emote hate and anger in order to do your baneful works, maybe black pepper essential oil will do something for you. Maybe cayenne essential oil will do something for you. You know, and if you smell that, it's gonna irritate your nose and it's gonna get you angry and it's gonna get you watery-eyed. You're gonna get pissed off that now your nose is all runny, and that is a good thing for that baneful work. So, you know, that's basically what I'm trying to say in terms of how you can utilize the essential oils in your magic, on top of all the cool concoctions that you can make and anointing oils that you can make with it and dressing oils that you can make with them. I mean, there's so many multiple uses for essential oils. It's insane. It's insane. But that's pretty much what I try and teach my people is like, look, these oils are meant to, they have a proven record of literally changing your brain and how your brain functions and works. And if you can do that, then you can then utilize that as a tool to put more power back up your magical punch. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. And what's awesome is I work part-time in the Twin Cities at Variety Beauty Supply, and one of my customers is a nurse at the mental hospital there at St. Joseph's, and they're actually starting to use essential oils, aromatherapy with their patients. And when I started talking, because the reason why she brought it up to me, I was showing her, because we have a lot more natural products, and I've been bringing them a lot more in, you know, living the Oshun life, as they say. And, you know, so when she saw the knowledge that I had about it, she's like, will you come talk to the hospital if I can get you to work in about that? And, you know, because I strongly believe, you know, like I've talked about on other shows, some people, because I have been at a young age, was diagnosed with bipolar, um, manic depressive, explosive temper disorder, and a few other nasty little things. But over the years, between through spiritual discipline and using of the essential oils to help me, through my spiritual baths, using them, their fragrance and everything, and cleansing rituals and stuff like that, like either in a spiritual bath or spiritual shower, like my lavender and Epsom salt that I recommend to all my ladies. Do it. Dr. Teal's is one of my favorite brands. Because I totally understand. We are very, some of us live in urban areas. We don't even have in our little apartments enough room for a bathtub. So take advantage of your shower and everything. Right. And even if, you have to buy a dollar store, body wash, go splurge on the essential oil and then add it to the body wash. Exactly. And then shake it up as vigorously as you can and everything, so you can have that, and take advantage. That's the reason I love lavender, because automatically you're cleansing, you're protecting, you're blessing yourself, so you don't allow, the everyday bullshit in everyday life out in the world that you get exposed to collect up on you and everything. Right. Because it's not good for us to wait to the last minute and we're scurrying around like, oh my God, I need to take a spiritual bath. I'm freaking out, we have those, freak out moments and everything because either we've been, we're only human, and I've done it before.
We're busy people, man. We work.
Yeah.
Everyone has 25 jobs.
Exactly.
Going to school. And
that's why I always, try to encourage, people and everything, and simple little things like that, like all your cleaning supplies, come in a lavender scent and everything. Even your bleach, even your laundry detergent, to your, dish soap, your Swiffers, cleaning spray, Pledge, everything comes so that, because you can keep your little house in a hubble, because I can totally understand you don't always have the time to run to, the health food store or wherever you find your essential oils. So do what you got to do for at that time and everything. And then your place is, sanctified and cleared. And, and so when I weekly clean my house, I don't have to worry about foolishness going on and, collecting up. And, because personally, I don't like the smell of sage when it burns.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay.
Me neither.
I really don't.
Santo and a cigar kind of chick.
Thank you. Exactly. That's the Boricua, baby. Okay.
I feel you. And you know what? I'm really glad that you use the word discipline, because it's true. This is what we do is not a hobby, it's a lifestyle. And in order to make it a lifestyle, you need to have the discipline to do so.
Yes.
And discipline can be something just as simple as just finding little ways of incorporating it into your day-to-day life. And you just gave like the perfect example. Just cleaning your house, regular cleaning. It doesn't have to be expensive. Girl, get yourself some baking soda, some warm water, a little cap full of peroxide, or vinegar, whichever one you prefer. And then your favorite essential oil to give it the scent that you want it to give it, or to give it the spiritual purpose you want to give it, and make it happen. Listen, one of the beautiful things about us women is that we're so resourceful.
Exactly, girl.
We started in the fields. We learned about our plants. We learned about how to use them to heal our families, to cook for our families, to become medicine women of our cultures. And that kind of skill set has never left us. I don't care how urban you are. I don't care how this you are, how that you are. At the end of the day, you're a woman, and that in and of itself has power that is so ancient and so old. And I can almost guarantee you that even the essential oil information, if I were to show you a book on it, somewhere deep down inside, intuitively, you'll say to yourself, this sounds really familiar. I feel like I know this information.
Deja vu moments. I talk about that all the time. Yep.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
And
that's not at all man hating. I love my men, and they've got their gifts and their skills as well too. There's definitely not a man hating situation on that.
No.
It's just we have to acknowledge that beautiful power of women, because that's another thing I observe in our culture is women really having a tough time coming into their power and really believing in themselves. You know, I'm seeing these girls,
because if we
curse
do,
their
we're taught
boyfriends,
we're
trying to get their
evil.
boyfriend back,
Yes.
trying to curse their coworker, and because they just don't have that self-love for themselves to be able to rise above all that bullshit. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
They're too busy trying to curse everybody and trying to get their man back and trying to do this. And it's like, but baby, you are powerful in and of yourself.
Yes,
and
girl.
You know what? Maybe you just need to sniff some lavender.
Amen. Right?
You know? And I love you, and I will be here for you all day, every day. You know, my Facebook is always open to those beautiful, beautiful women, and we can work through this together. You know what I mean? And my YouTube, I will try to make videos for that if that's something that they want. And we'll do this together, you know?
Oh, yeah. And that's why because I deal with a lot of ladies from around the world with my ministry. And a lot of them, and I guess the reason why Spirit brings them to me is that because I've been through the nasty relationships. And so I go through what I went through and let them know, of this different spiritual things I did for myself that helped me get out of that situation and help with the healing and everything, and give them, according to whatever, spiritual path they follow as best as I can, because I want to empower everyone, just not just my sisters, but my brothers too, because the more we lift each other up, the more we bless each other and take care of each other, the more we, have abundance and love and help and, happiness and everything in our lives. And, and that's why, I'm so grateful to be able to bring someone like you on here. That's absolute joy. And,
I am grateful you invited me. You are just such a ray of sunshine. Your show is awesome, man. I totally splurged out on all your past episodes.
Thank you, sweetheart.
It was so much fun to go through them all.
Oh, thank you so much. Definitely. Do we have anything special coming up soon with you? Do you have any classes that you're going to be teaching?
Well, I just got finished doing an ancestor workshop, and I got such a great response for that I might do a part 2, because they just want to keep learning, and I think that's great.
Especially with the Halloween and Samhain and Day of the Dead, Dia de Muertos coming up and everything. That'd be perfect.
Yeah, man, totally.
Oh yeah.
Also, stay tuned on my YouTube. I'm gonna be uploading a video actually this week on my Madama story and how I met my Madama and how she came to me, and we'll be talking about that, as well as a couple of book reviews, because Wiser Book had sent me a few books, and I just got finished reading them all, so now we're gonna talk about them. And then, I mean, you saw my bio, man. I work as a teacher, so I do that full time. And then I have my band on the weekends, and I have a gig almost every weekend.
You got any CDs or anything out with your band yet?
Huh?
Do you have any CDs out or anything?
No, we're not like that. We're just like a local, just like cover band that just sort of just does local bars, and sometimes do private parties and weddings and things like that. Nothing like that. I'm not trying to get famous. I just love singing. It just kind of brings joy to my spirit, and that's all. And no big deal.
Nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing wrong with that at all. I am so glad that you're we're what they call sociable, introverts and everything. Because most spiritual people are, we have that urge and that driven need to want to help and everything. But because we're so sensitive to other people's energies and everything, it makes us want to, recluse, and also the way people can be such pendejos out in the world. But it's like you have this love-hate relationship with humanity at times. Sure. And you can see it on my Facebook. I don't care. It's like, yes, I am a reverend, but I'll tell you fuck you in an instant if I have to. I don't care. That's
from my perspective, because I'm a very youthful person. I'm in my 30s, but I'm very youthful. Yes. And I'm also really tiny. So, so people just like assume I'm just young and naive and I don't know anything about the world. And it's so funny because it's like, honey, you don't know anything about me. If only you knew the shit that I've been through. Exactly. And I tell you, I will smile and I'll be your best friend and I will love and take care of you, but I can be the worst enemy that you ever had.
Yep, exactly, mommy. That's the Boricua in us. Because
I never try and do that. I'm like what they call the sleeping bear. Just leave me alone. I promise. I won't do nothing. Just don't poke too much.
Oh, trust me, I can be sweet as honey. But trust me, if you do me wrong and everything, you will feel my sting. Actually, and my sting comes from my ancestors. Because there's one thing I love about, that's why I always, especially when you're making oils and using the essential oils and stuff. That's another thing I forgot to bring up. Is that you can use, especially of the ones that that you may have known in life, or may know of. Find out what their favorite things are, like what their favorite perfume, and you could always use a drop of that on the candle to them, type of thing.
These oils make amazing offerings.
Yes.
Amazing offerings.
Yes.
You can anoint a candle with that oil and just give that candle to the spirit. You can put a drop of that oil in the water and give it to the spirit. You can put it in the food and give it to the spirits.
Yes.
Whatever. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Oh,
so
yeah.
many uses.
Oh yeah, and that's one thing I like about it and everything, and that's why I always try to tell people, always try to do your best in healing and taking care of each other. But the thing, sadly to say, there's a lot of parasites that are out there, and and
it's sad. It's really sad.
And it's like, so when dealing with that type of stuff, that's why the best time is to always, especially during this nastiness of Uranus and Mercury, and now soon to be Neptune, all going in retrograde. People are all start freaking out and thinking negatively. Well, but thinking that negative crap, you're putting out that negative energy, and to keep you from that, that's why they make, from the essential oils, the magical spiritual blend of Mercury retrograde, Neptune retrograde, up for the different planets, to help keep you from thinking that negative stuff, so you can use and take advantage of this time of thinking of a slingshot, going in reverse, remove or send back whatever foolishness that's been going on in your life. Exactly. That's why, when I posted a thing about, it was from the Hunger Games, about, may the favors, about Mercury retrograde, and may, the odds be in your favor. It's like, dude, think about it. This is the time. Do road opener work, do removing of obstacles. You're having problem with parasites in your life. Banish them. This would be the perfect, plus it being waning side of the moon, so break out your different oils that you need. Because I can totally understand, some people live in certain areas that you can't have elaborate, altars and everything to your ancestors. You can't be, blatant. And so, but everyone loves a cute little oil diffuser. So, what you do is you get yourself, a carrier oil, put a couple drops of your favorite essential that you need for your different spiritual. Everyone else is going to think, oh, your house smells so pretty, but in the long run, and the spirit knows what's going on and everything. See, I grew up in the Bible Belt, so we had to hide. You couldn't be obvious. So growing up with my mama and everything, being, a teacher of, learning how to use essential oils. And the funny thing is, as I became an adult, I taught her the spiritual use. Because she was, when she became born again Pentecostal, she went in total denial, and everything about she wouldn't even call it conjure, like most Christians do, they call Christian folk magnet down in the South. And, so as long as we called it natural healing, it was okay. So growing up, learning about the different essential oils medicinally and everything, I really loved it when, like I said before in the show, as I became an adult and started learning the spiritual uses of it, and I was like, oh, this is cool.
Totally.
Oh, really? It works the same. So for internal, because in a way you can think of, internally you take it and use it on top, or, depending on what you're using it for and which one it is, for physical, healing, but also they work in the same essence for spiritual healing. Because a lot of things physically that, is wrong with you and everything has many times some kind of spiritual influence from negative energy. I mean, instead of calling it negative energy, they call it stress. And they say stress is the number one cause of what? Heart disease, especially in this country,
That's the killer, man. It's everything.
It's the killer. Because that negative energy causes, the toxins and everything to build up in the body. And so we can use these, aromatherapies, through the essential oils, both spiritually and medicinally, to help cleanse us both spiritually and physically of this foolishness that's, that would cause harm to our health. both
Exactly.
of the spirit, of the mind, of the emotions, of and of the body. And
I just want to reiterate too, you're
mhm.
100% right, and I want to reiterate that again though, these essential oils are a tool, and you can kind of think of it the way like magic works, so like with magic, you might write a petition, or you might light a candle, or you might say a prayer and do a ritual, or you might raise an energy, and then but at the end of the day, you're going to send it out, right?
Yes.
You're going to send it out to go do your work.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when it goes out, you have no control of how long it's going to take, what's going to happen, how it's going to manifest. You just know that you sent this out, you're hoping it's going to be a certain way, and you hope that that's how it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of, but if you're good at what you do, it'll happen the way you intended it to happen, because you use the right tool, you use the right ingredients. Now, with an essential oil, let's say you're feeling sick and you want to use an essential oil to help you with that. You place that essential oil on you, or you smell it, and it's kind of like releasing the magic of the essential oil into your body and allowing it to do what it does. It's going to go and it's going to affect your immune system, and it's going to affect your brain, and it's going to affect your stuff. But at the end of the day, it's still your body that actually does the healing. It's still you that has to wake up from its slumber and heal itself. The oil is activating those systems to do that for you.
Yep.
So it is assisting you, but it's not solving your problem. And I think that and it's just like magic. Magic assists you, but it's not going to solve your problem.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It'll get you where you need to go, but it's not going to fix everything. That's just not how it works,
Like I try to tell people, especially my friends who are not of the spiritual nature, but I try to show them through the scientific way that, each of them have a certain vibration. And what you want to do is use the co-creator that has the same vibration as what your intent is, of what you're putting out. You're using it more or less. They're tool amplifiers as of one way of putting it.
Exactly.
It's like, so if you're in, the vibration you're putting out is love, so you use stuff to help promote a higher vibration of love, besides what your will is getting out, because, like I said, some of us, have the natural ability to boom, 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 they can do the thing, but some of us need an assistance, or we know to help amplify and make us more powerful. That's why we use those tools, the certain, essential oils to help lure in the lover that we want, so we have that certain pheromone going on, and, with, certain lovely oils, that promotes, glamour and, attractiveness, that would...
And I always encourage people too to learn herbalism just in general.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like learning how plants grow, where they grow, what they grow best next to, what they need to survive, etc., etc. Because just like you were saying, the vibration and the frequency with it all, there are some plants that don't get along with other plants.
Exactly.
Vibrationally, they just don't. Some weeds don't get along with other weeds, and some weeds kill flowers. So obviously you don't want to mix a weed and a flower in your magical working.
Yep.
There are certain things that you, as a magical practitioner, if you don't study herbalism and how these plants actually communicate with each other and how they talk to each other, then when you go to put your stuff together, you might be canceling yourself out. You might be putting ingredients in there that end up fighting each other, and your work doesn't manifest at all because they're too busy. Their energies are fighting each other.
Yep.
And they're not doing your work. So, and it's the same thing with these essential oils, So I always encourage people, learn your herbalism, learn your plants, and that way you'll learn how these oils can amp up your work for you. For sure.
Oh, yeah. And like I said, if you can't do the oils at the time, then, hit the spice rack if you have to.
Exactly.
I can understand you don't have the money, because certain essential oils, for a little bottle, it can be very expensive.
Girl, yeah.
I remember one time I had to get this one bottle of Lang Lang, and it's like, what? $40-something for the thing, and I'm like, what? Okay.
Like 5 pounds of the
just to make a little, half-gram bottle. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but that's why. But you use it sparingly when you're making certain, oils, and especially spiritual oils and stuff when you're using it.
Right.
My mom, in her massage therapy, she's also a doula, and would help. I was very grateful for her. She was able to. She had one of those little mini little crack pack potpourri things and everything, and she was able to plug it in into the hospital because since you can't bring a flame, and
Right.
she put lang lang and lavender and chamomile essential oils in there
Oh, that's perfect.
while I
Yeah.
was giving birth, and it really helped a lot. I wasn't as demonic as some of the other women were when they were in the middle of giving birth because, honey, I did mine all natural. I actually she wasn't there for my second and my third, but she was there for when my first son was born. And what one thing was funny is that it actually put me to sleep. They had to wake me up. The nurse did her little checky poo down there, and it's like, ma'am, you're fully dilated. You can push. Oh, what? I gotta push? Okay, let's go. But seriously, it helped because there's certain pressure points in the back that you push to help make the pain it doesn't take it away, but it makes it tolerable. And then there's 2 points of the just above the left ankle, and and the only person I would allow to touch me was my mama Pam. Anything male that came near me, it was like, you must die. It is your fault I'm in this position. But and she was just very calming, and it's like I said, it's like while I rested and everything, she just held on to those points for me, and and then being able to smell that relaxing smell and stuff, it really did help, and that's why I love, the use of them, and always will be.
Your mommy is such a magical woman, whether she wants to believe it or not. And
yes.
One of the things that I want to point
out. Oh, she's realized it now. She puts out little witches at Halloween time. I'm serious, because I proved to her, honey, you may pray to Jesus, but I'd rather pray to his Mama Maria. Because sometimes when you want to get a man to do something, you got to go to his mother.
That's I wanted to point out to you is like what the beautiful thing about mothers in particular, especially magical mommies, is they know what will work for their kids.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So she knew which oils to bring for you.
Oh, yeah.
She knew where to place them for you. And that isn't just the education. That isn't just her experience. It's the fact that you're her daughter, that she knows what will work for you. And believe it or not, in the magic community, we have that as well. There are some initiatory traditions, and there are some cultures that actually believe that each person is governed by a particular plant and a particular herb.
Yep.
And because they're governed by that particular plant and herb, there are other plants and herbs that may not work well with that person, that they may not be able to use or work with, because they that is the herb or their plant of their family. And I think it's the same with essential oils. Like, for example, you love lavender, right? It brings you calming, it brings you peace and all that. For me, believe it or not, lavender actually makes me very hyped up. I get very hyped up. I get very anxious on lavender. I have a hard time using it, and I have to use a completely different kind of calming herb, essential oil. And that's not anything. I mean, don't get me wrong. The chemicals in lavender are definitely meant to be calming, but everybody is also very different in how they receive that.
Exactly. Like my when I used to have a problem with insomnia big time and everything, and my mom tried to give me that stinky ass herb valerian root as a tea.
Oh Lord.
Why I couldn't get past the smell, and then when I finally did, she found it in the capsule for me to take. It did the complete opposite. You would have thought I had smoked a bunch of crack and I was beaming all over the place, zipping all over the place as a kid. It did the complete opposite. When but if I drink kava tea, I'm good. Or I smell the smell of kava, or mixed with chamomile, and that works for me. And everything, type of thing.
I can drink coffee up until a certain point of the day, and then I can't drink it no more. Otherwise, I'm going to be up all night. Versus like my parents, who can drink coffee all the way up until they go to sleep, and it won't affect them. Yeah. So it's so amazing. It's just amazing because your body is just such a magical, complex system.
Yes.
And this is why, as a magical practitioner, the very first thing that you should master above all magic is yourself. And you can know that stuff, honey. Amen. Be an unstoppable force. Amen. And like you said, Bruce Lee said the same thing, man. Being water, just be water in the sense that you have to be flexible, mobile, and disciplined. know when to be a calm water and know when to crash through and break down walls.
Oh,
you
amen,
know?
girl. Well, oh my goodness, time flies.
Oh, no.
Yes, I know. You got to come back on again, honey. So you need. I'm already booked up into February. So let me know when. Girl, I mean, like I said, this thing.
Next opening, your next one, just throw me in there.
Okay, I'll just shoot you the date. Then like I said, I got February open already. So definitely gonna have you back on, mommy.
This is an amazing experience. Thank you so much. You were my first interview ever, so you totally popped my cherry.
Thank you, darling. Thank you for the honor, dear. Would you mind closing out the show with a blessing for everybody that's listening tonight?
Oh, Lord. All right, let's do it together.
Okay.
Okay. So by the powers of the elements, earth, air, fire, water, and great spirit, have a wonderful and blessed night. May all of your dreams come true, and I will always be here to help you. Always.
Oh, amen. Yes, amen, honey. Be blessed, my darlings. Make sure you tune in next week. Freshly done from Hex Fest, I'll have the big bad Hoodoo Man himself, Sin Mose, the part owner of Conjure New Orleans, and a dear friend of mine. And we're going to be talking about all kinds of good things. Talking about his new book, Working Conjure, and his various also his other class he'll be having on Graveyard Conjure at Festival of the Dead in Salem around time of Halloween weekend up there. So yeah, everyone have a blessed week. Love you always. Be blessed, my darlings. Ashe love. Mwah. Good night, y'all.
Bye.